Just about 1/3 of American gun owners claim that they have used their gun in self-defense or to defend their property. Are you ready with your 1 in 3 chance? There's some other information from this 2021 National Firearm Survey that we'll talk about, but first, we have a gun giveaway going on. It's happening right now. It's absolutely free, but it ends really soon. So just click the link in the description to see which brand new gun you could win. All right, the 2021 National Firearm Survey, conducted by the Georgetown McDonough School of Business, and it's a research paper out there now where they have interviewed 54,000 people. And this was a randomly generated number of 54,000 people, and found out that 16,000 of those folks claimed to be gun owners and were asked some more in-depth questions. So let's talk about this for a minute here. The report summarizes the findings of a national survey. Firearms ownership and use. It was conducted between February 17th and March 23rd of 2021. And it was done by this professional survey group called Sentiment. The survey is part of a larger book project which aims to provide the most comprehensive assessment of firearms ownership and use patterns in America so far to date. So this online survey was administered to a representative sample of, like I said, approximately 54,000 U.S. residents ages 18 and over. And it identified 16,708 gun owners who were asked more in-depth questions about their firearms ownership and the use of their firearms, including defensive uses of firearms. So it is consistent with other recent survey and research that shows the overall rate of adult firearms ownership of about 31.9%. So if we do the math, that adds up to about 81.4 million Americans aged 18 and over who own firearms. The survey further finds that approximately 1/3 of those gun owners, 31.1%, claim to have used their firearm to defend themselves or their property, and often on more than one occasion. It estimates that guns are used defensively by firearms owners in approximately 1.67 million incidents every year. Handguns are the most common firearms employed in a self-defense situation, and that's about 65.9% of the time. In most defensive incidents, fully 81%, no shots were ever fired. Approximately 25%, a quarter of those defensive incidents, occurred within the gun owner's home, and approximately half of those, 53%, occurred outside the home, but still on their property. About 1 in 10, we're talking about 9.1% of defensive gun uses occurred in public, and about 1 out of 20, 4.8%, occurred at work, at the person's place of employment. So going back over that, 10% of these self-defense incidents happened at home. What is your home defense plan? Do you have a home defense plan? And not only at home, but on your property as well. What gun are you using? What access do you have to it? Is it with you when you need it? Understand all of these things have to be part of your home defense plan, because it's not just out there in the big scary world. It's not that all of these events are happening in dark alleys and big cities and stuff like that. These self-defense incidents are happening at home and at work. So you need to be ready with your gun, you need to be trained, and you need to be prepared. Now, the survey further found out that a majority of gun owners, fully 56%, indicate that they carry a handgun for self-defense in at least some circumstances. And about 35% of gun owners report that they carry a handgun with some frequency, so regularity. They're carrying it a lot. The survey estimates that approximately 20 million gun owners, that's 26%, carry a handgun in public under the concealed carry laws where it's legal to do so. And 35% of those gun owners report that there have been instances where they wanted to carry a handgun to defend themselves, but local laws made it difficult or impossible for them to do so. This survey shows the average gun owner owns 5 firearms, and handguns are the most common type of firearm owned. 48% of gun owners have owned magazines that hold more than 10 rounds of ammunition. And 30% of gun owners, totaling about 24 million individuals, have owned an AR-15 or similarly styled rifle. So demographically, gun owners are diverse as well. 42% are female and 57.8% are male. Approximately 25.4% are black and 28% are Hispanic. 19% of the people responding to the survey were Asian and they own firearms, and 34% of whites own firearms. The big takeaway for me from this survey is that there are millions of defensive gun uses every year, and don't believe the hype. Right now, the media will tell you that it's only older white men who are carrying guns. This survey shows that gun owners are diverse, that men and women carry guns, that people of all races carry guns, and they use those firearms to defend themselves and their property, and 80% of the time, they don't have to fire a shot. Guns do not cause violence. Guns stop violence. Guns protect people. This survey, done by a business school, shows statistically, and with 54,000 respondents to the survey, 16,000 that were asked in-depth questions, this shows that firearms do more good than they do harm. We're talking about the number of firearms deaths only in the tens of thousands, but the number of defensive firearms use to protect people in the millions every year. Yes, tens of thousands of deaths are tragic, but consider how many more deaths there would be if people didn't use guns to protect themselves. If there would be millions of more victims of crime because guns were restricted and we didn't have access to use them to protect ourselves. This is an amazing survey, and we should be using this data to present our pro-gun arguments to all of the people we know who are on the fence. Because this shows that it's not just older white men who carry guns. Lots of people are carrying guns. Millions of people are using them to protect themselves, their family, and their property. We are responsible gun owners. Law-abiding citizens don't cause problems. They save themselves, they save other people, they protect themselves with their guns. And that's what we're supposed to be doing. It's a true story of self-defense. We interviewed an armed Lyft driver who was carjacked to help answer these questions. Should I carry a gun while driving? And what does a carjacking actually look like? Just click the video next to me to watch this must-see interview.